Not since the horrors of the Black Plague has our land seen such despair. Almost 2 millennia after Sigmar founded the Empire, the realm is fractured and broken. 3 rival factions claim the Imperial crown: Marienburg, Middenheim, and Reichland. Lure of power brings the armies of men against one another in a seemingly endless tide of battle. An island of peace in a sea of conflict, Mordheim drew wealth such as the city had never seen into its walls. But with its prosperity came the corruption of arrogance and hedonism and greed. The gods could not long abide the outrages of Mordheim's populace. In the heavens, an ill star appeared. A great twin-tailed comet that some priests warned was nothing less than the hammer of Sigmar. They preached tidings of doom and repentance, but their sermons were ignored. An attitude of rebellious revelry gripped the city as the comet grew ever nearer. The grand festival to celebrate the turn of the year was a mockery of the apocalyptic prophecies. It was then that the hammer fell. The fiery comet plowed through the city, gouging a deep crater in the midst of the poor quarter. The wondrous palace of Count Steinhard was broken, the grand amphitheater shattered, the vast great library blighted by a pall of ash. Fire and smoke decimated the populace, but worse awaited the survivors. A malignant corruption that brought with it mutation and madness, the vile taint of chaos. In the shattered city, strange green-black stones were discovered. Strange energies emanated from these shards. Warlocks and alchemists experimented with these word stones and soon determined that their uncanny properties could work wonders. Wordstone could heal the sick, regenerate the old, or even turn base metal to gold. Lust for Wordstone focused avaricious eyes upon ruined Mordheim. Treasure hunters descended upon the city, vying with both mutated horrors that claimed the ruins as their own, and crusading zealots who sought to prevent the taint from spreading. Inhuman creatures filtered into Mordheim, staking their own claims. An endless pilgrimage of the greedy and ambitious, fighting and dying in a place now called the City of the Damned. Who among you shall die today?
Hi comrades, I'm your comrade, Vtuber Stalin. Today I'm let's playing Mordheim, City of the Damned. Well, to be more precise, I'm not really let's playing it. I'm making a challenge video, because I'm making a new warband. I am doing this, let's first explain a bit about the game. You play a warband of 9 or 10 characters, possibly a bit less, and yeah, you skirmish. You fight against one other warband on the map, and you seek to knock them out, to collect loot, and especially Wordstone. And it is set in the Warhammer Fantasy universe, before it the end times and Age of Sigmar happened. I'll go over that lore a bit more, but there are bigger lore channels about the Warhammer universe. And it was originally a tabletop game. If you are familiar with tabletop games, you'll see a lot of mechanics come back. I think that's most important. So, we're doing a challenge. For this game you have I think it's called a die challenge, where you only do deadly missions, and you can't there's a bit more rules. You can't fire anyone that's injured, and you have to, well, you can't do story missions either. So I'm not going to do that challenge, because I did one casually, and yeah, I lasted for a while, but eventually it failed. What I'm going to do is a ranged only challenge. So I'm only going to use ranged weapons, and I can't use like counter attacks or normal weapon attacks. So yeah, the weapons you can use are like bow, longbow, blunderbuss, what do you call it? Hunting rifle, pistols, etc. Throwing stars, whatever makes a ranged attack. And well, I think it's possible, but some of the story missions are going to be really difficult. I think there are maybe 3 I'm really not looking forward to. Those being the library. Library is always a very difficult and annoying mission. There are 8 story missions, by the way. Count Steinhardt's Palace, the one with all the demonettes. That's gonna be. I'm gonna have to bump up my intelligence for that definitely, because I need to make those stupidity checks. And the one where you kill Murga, the dramatic personae of the Cult of the Possessed. So I think that's the statue, Count Steinhardt's statue. Yeah, the one where you always do you call it the Zinz's Curse or Divine Wrath, where that always triggers. Also, yeah, I'm gonna start at rank 5, just so I can get all the characters.
So, you've decided to brave the city of the damned in search of gold and glory. There's no shortage of those who've tried before you. If you look hard enough, you'll find their bones littering the ruins. Mordheim doesn't forgive mistakes, so you'd better not make any. I'll say this for you. You've taken the first step to surviving. You've had the good sense to seek out Luther Wolfenbaum. I've forgotten more about this city than you'll ever learn. Listen to me, and you just might leave this place with the fame and fortune you're after. I'm not sure what oaths and vows bind you to Baron von Leitdorfer's service. I'm not really interested in the imperial pretensions of Reichland's Grand Prince either. You need to concentrate on one thing only, and that's the task immediately before you. Aye, there's Wyrdstone in the ruins, ready for the taking. But there's other things in the ruins too. You've got those murdering maniacs from the Rock, ready to kill anyone they find with even the smallest shard on them. They're bad, but even worse are the degenerates who've taken to worshipping the comet that smashed Mordheim. They're twisted in both mind and body, and will happily dump your body into the pit as an offering to their Shadow Lord. You'll even see things you wouldn't believe prowling the ruins. The verminous underfold, the Skaven of legend, are quite real, I assure you. They'll steal your Wyrdstone and gnaw your bones, given half the chance. Aye, the dangers are great, but if you were cowardly, you'd never have made the journey here. There's treasure to be had, if you're bold and ruthless enough to claim it. This city chews up the timid and the weak, so remember that, and keep your men strong. Do that, and you might just survive.
Alright, so let's make our characters. Let's hope we get enough pistols. Yeah. Gonna need a bow immediately. Alright, So here we can buy characters. You see all these slots. You have 5 henchmen, 4 heroes, and 1 leader. There's only one type of leader per warband, and in our case it's a captain. Also, I'll explain these dots later, but everyone has skills. You can buy 5 passive skills and 5 active skills. And every character comes with 1 or sometimes 2 already pre-selected skills. They don't need to be passive skills, they could be active skills. And as you level up, you gain these green points with which you can buy more. Also, I've got I've already done some of these before. Am I gonna use them? It doesn't really feel that. I kind of want to spend these points, because as you have completed these tasks, you can put skills in here. But considering this is a challenge, I don't feel it's very honest. Especially Negotiator. That makes things just easier. So, no. You can only pick 2 types from every type of hero, like Smuggler. You can only have 2. So I can't pick 4 smugglers here. But I will pick at least 2. You... let's hope you also have some pistols. Yes, phew. Dueling pistols. Yeah, those are gonna be useless. Right, so I have my smugglers. These are probably gonna be the most important, because they can set traps, and their more impressive trap is white powder here. This one stuns an opponent or all opponents in the air, in the affected area. So when someone walks close to this trap, it triggers. They have to make what do you call it, a save against being stunned. And if they fail it, they get stunned. Their turn ends, and they'll lose. Yeah, they'll lose most of their action next turn, or half, something like that. Also, I'm not going to use any magic, so yeah, you won't see warlocks. The ones I'm going to use are the young bloods. So the next one, I don't know, they don't have it. This is bad. It's not too bad. You know what? I'm gonna put them in reserve until we get bows. Yep. And marksmen are gonna be my henchmen. You can actually put henchmen in hero slots, and you can also promote henchmen. Let's see where it was. There was one. Let's Got Talent. Can't remember where it is. Where is it? Could swear it was somewhere here. Let's Got Talent. Yeah, you promote a henchman to a hero. I'm not gonna do that though, because warriors are very bad at ranged. They're not very bad, but they're not good. Let's get some light armor as well. I think I need to. Oh, it just prompted me to tell. Let's see the shop. Handgun. What kind of ranged weapons can they use? Bow, crossbow, dueling pistols, pistol. No handgun. See the difference. 12% armor absorption, critical hit damage. This one seems more accurate. I'd rather have more accuracy. Alright, so now a mission. This is a normal mission. It's also no. They're all normal missions. I think you should always start with normal missions. Effort war. So you can see here the missions. It's difficulty, and you have side objectives. So with marked for death, you need to get 2 or 3 enemies down and steal their dog tags. And if you have them, you win the secondary objective. And with Weirdstone Rush, you have to get a lot of Weirdstone. Speaking of Weirdstone, that is what gets you money. As you get Weirdstone, you can go to the smuggler's den and send a shipment to one of 3 factions. And sorry, I had to cough. And you get money for it. So you get these crowns. Sometimes you're obligated to send some Weirdstone to your main faction. So in this one you have to get 55 or 60% of the Weirdstone on the map. And these 2 types of missions are easy to do. You also have break their spirit or something. Then you have to get to their card and capture their icon and bring it back. Can't really do that too well. So just launch and deploy, and as we go, I'll explain the type of game.
The horrific manifestation of the ghostly town crier causes both groups of warriors to flee in terror. As the apparition fades away,
being scattered is probably very bad, because we don't want to get engaged.
Spread out across the ruins, but so too are your enemies.
So we auto-deploy. That green rock over there, that's the Weirdstone I was talking about. There you can see it now better. And this is a tactical map. We are against witch hunters. Let's see. Alright, I'll probably try to get guys up there. These 2 smugglers. Let's just grab the icon. Let's see in here. He's very close. Alright, so yeah, you can just walk around. You see at the bottom left, there's these blue dots and red dots. The blue dots are used for moving and stances, and the red dots are used for attacks. So yeah, you have end spells, of course. So you have 3 types of attacks. Melee attacks, which can be dodged or parried, depending on your stance. You have ranged attacks, and those, those can't really be blocked, but they are easier to miss. And you have things like obstruction. You can see it's 85%, but if I move there, it's only 70%. And magical attacks. I'm not gonna bother with them, and bother with melee attacks. But range attacks, they you don't roll to hit, you roll to see if you can cast a magic, and then the opponent rolls to see if they resist it. And as you can see, this will do HP damage. Gonna use aim to make sure I hit. Didn't need to. And it's the end of that turn. Let's take them down one by one. I first want to take him down. I can aim once. Right, where are you? Can you see anyone? No. Let's get you around here. You don't have that piece of wood stone, that's what you're gonna pick up. As you see this blue line on the ground, that's your movement range. If you cross it, you'll consume one strategic point, they call it. One blue dot. See? Now it's one down. Oh, yeah, there's traps. Big wordstone.
Objectives updated.
And wordstone can have positive or negative effects. In this case, negative. And this is a stance I just used. It's Overwatch. So if an enemy comes in his line of sight, he'll make a ranged attack. And let's see, there was wordstone over there. Yeah, I want to be collecting the wordstone because that means money. Oh, you can get those. So you are gonna go back. Gonna take up Overwatch position here. Could take him out. Next one will take him out. That's very positive. So there's one more. There's more than one stance. You have a type of offensive stance. Those are the Overwatch for a ranged attack and ambush for a melee attack. But you also have defensive stances. 2 of them, dodge and parry. You can only use parry when you have a sword, shield, or halberd. But dodge stance you can always use. And if you wear clothing, it's get a bonus to it. And if you wear heavy armor, you get a penalty to it. And if an opponent makes a melee attack while you have the dodge or parry stance, you roll for to see if you succeed in your stance, and if you succeed, you will dodge or parry the attack, and it doesn't do any damage. Let's see where the other one is. The other one is over there, so I need you down here to take out the opponent. Yes, take him. There. That's one down. And now you can see at the top left, the red bar went down. That's the opponent. It went down by 9. Each time you take down an opponent or steal the icon from the card, this is their card, this is ours, it goes down, and if it reaches below 32, they have to roll if they don't run away. They automatically run away when it becomes 0 or all their warriors are down.
Objectives.
I think when all their warriors are down, it already is 0. Yeah, flail's not going to be much use, but heavy armor. Gonna put that on my what do you call it? My captain, the warband leader. So these are very nice positions for archers. Just put them top somewhere. Well, I may have picked the wrong mission. I think next time Marked for Death is easier. Because I can focus fire on them and I just need to pick up the icons. Picking up the wordstone, you have to go across all the map. And with this type of warband you want to be defensive. Why not? Just want to sell that one either way. Let's get you up the stairs. Yeah, there's much stone around. Can you see anything? No, I don't think they'll be coming from over here much. So now I'll be going back here. Now keep your distance.
A new round has started.
Still need to grab their icon from the card. You'll be the one to do, or you. Yeah, you're first in initiative. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not fighting chaos. They have very heavy armor and they like melee, they rush you into melee. So I think they will be the hardest problem. Oh, that's a problem. I have to disengage. Now take him out. No. Failure. 100. The higher you roll, the worse it is. So yeah, if you have a 95% chance, you have to roll 95 or lower. You can fire twice. Now let's see if you can make it one just out of range. That's number 2 down. It isn't going bad at all. Do I want to keep you here? They're all coming from over there. Yeah, if I start retreating with him and with the others, you would be in a good position. You also need to take up a better position. You can attack him. Then move back. It's a good thing they're light armored, otherwise, or unarmored. Otherwise, these bows wouldn't do much. Eventually I'm gonna try to get my henchmen and my young bloods crossbows. And also my captain. I think the crossbows would be the most useful. You can fire them the most, as long as you stand still. And the smugglers, yeah, they'll get rifles, pistols, or any type of gunpowder. I think I'll keep the hunting rifles for them. And no, they don't have them yet, but as we level up we can get skills and you can use them as actions sometimes. Like one is intimidate, I think. That you can intimidate one opponent and they'll be easier to hit. It costs like 3 strategic points. In retrospect, I may have gotten lucky with the
A new round
scattering,
has started.
because the opponent isn't getting close yet. Oh, I thought I was engaged with him. Oh, guess I was wrong. Point blank attack. Yeah, these bows are very useful against lightly armed opponent. As they should be. That's pretty much the function of the bow. So this was a critical hit, and as you can see, the top right you can see all the rolls, by the way. He rolled a stun resistance, so whenever you would be stunned by, for example, a crit, you roll that. You roll stun resistance and you either go down or you don't. you can see on the left here resistances. Melee resistance is just a negative for the opponent to hit you in melee combat. Ranged resistance to hit you with a ranged attack. Magic resistance is to, well, resist a spell. Poison to resist poison effects. Dodge and parry are your chances to dodge and parry. As you can see, we have the distorting file that lowers it. Critical hit resistance and stun resistance. So critical hit resistance is lowering their chance to roll a crit. Stun resistance is which you need to roll to not get stunned. Weirdstone when you pick up Weirdstone. Oh wait, that's gone. Trap resistance when you activate like traps like we just did. What he's standing on now is trap. All alone, I haven't explained that. If your guy is engaged in melee with 2 other people, and those 2 people don't connect to one other of your persons, of your characters, of your minions, you have to roll an all alone, because you stand all alone against 2 or more opponents. And if you fail, you try to flee. If you can't flee, you just you stand there and you lose all your blue and red dots. Take him out. Nice. Yeah, this is going alright. Let's hope it keeps going alright. Oh no, I don't need to aim. Also, you see, they are out of action, they aren't killed. And it's a bit weird because they get cut like 10 times or have 5 arrows in them. But there's a reason for that. At the end of every game, every match, all your out of action characters gather and or are collected, and you roll to see what happens to them. And it is mostly negative, but it can be positive. You have effects like severed arm, severed leg, and yeah, they have negatives. When you have, for example, severed arm, you can't use bows, two-handed weapons, dual wield shields. Severed leg, you just go slower and can't climb. You can like get a mock, which means you kind of go crazy and don't run away. Don't just get scared. But you can also just outright die. Your character, well, gets taken by Mordheim, I think the announcer says. And you can get a few positives. A mock, like I just said, is technically considered a negative, but you don't roll for all alone checks anymore. So for melee characters, it's very useful. You can't disengage anymore, so for ranged characters, it's not as beneficial. And you can. What was the other one? near-death experience. You get 1 more experience point. It's also useful. Some critical lot.
A new
That's
round
what they deserve.
has started.
Yeah. Oh, the pistols have a shorter range. That's what circle earlier was. It was the accuracy. It was range. Yeah, I want big range. Can take him out. And if I also steal their icon, perhaps we can start making route checks. Nope. Don't. Reload again. Idol of Sigmar. Yeah, the book. Well, we also worship Sigmar, our characters. Sigmar is essentially the god of this world. There are multiple gods, but Sigmar is the most prominent in the Empire. That's where we're located. Yeah, it's down to 18, so it's good. Let's start gathering wordstone. Gonna gather those. Let's go the other way around the fence. The bigger the shard, the more it's worth. There's three types. Oh, he already took some damage. Didn't know that. And now I'm back. You also haven't done anything yet. Let's get you out of there. Scavenge that one. A helmet. I would rather have a helmet than a flail. This may be a mistake. If they make their route check, he may get swarmed by enemies. Yeah, they succeed. So what are you gonna do? After the weakest. Yeah, they aren't too merciful. Move back. Aim. Shoot your ugly face.
A new round has started.
So yeah, these type of skirmishes will be most of the gameplay. I am gonna show all of them because it's a challenge. But the most important ones will be the missions. Get the least amount of cover for them. Oh, that's not the one you want to be targeting. That's the one. And now, every time they lose one more character, they have to make a route check again. Or every time their turn comes up, to be more precise. One of them may have died, but at least I got some more redstone.
Updated. Objectives updated.
Yeah, I can't make my secondary objective. If you do that, you get 3 more experience points per character. Wait, he's still there. Yeah, now he's down. Yeah, it still has 2 left. So if I take him down, it's over. %78% chance to win. Yeah, we won. And that's one game of Mordheim. You can also play online. But with this warband I'm not going to play online.
When the Baron hears how you decimated the enemy, he will be as pleased as a halfling in a pie shop. He may even send a bit of gold by way of gratitude.
Yeah, so he would get experience points. And they can either do one of 2 things. Add to one of these 3 categories, so I will get 1 mental point. Could also be physical or martial, as we level up. Or we get skill points. And at some levels, also these will level up. You get more offensive points and more strategy points. Yeah, this is what I said. You can roll for it. This is a bit rare, but yeah.
Another one bites the dust.
It's not, you still get their equipment, so it's not too bad. It's 50 gold to replace them. And now we have to pay. If your characters get injured, you first have to pay that. That's a small amount, but the normal pay is can get quite high. Can get up to 100 or even more. Right. So a new smuggler. By the way, the reason we got them for free is because we have the DLC. That's maybe not fair in retrospect, but yeah, I am gonna use them because let's see, no range weapons. I'd have to be using champions. Could do it. Yeah, not gonna use him. It's just a bow. They are gonna be very good. need that. Get you some light armor. Get you. Alright. As I said earlier, we are gonna need a lot of intelligence for those stupidity tests. And if we're surrounded, it's already a bad position, so I don't think leadership is gonna help us much. Heavy armor and helmet. This nice feather cap goes away. Oh, I haven't explained this yet. This one is blue, whereas others might be white or purple. That's rarity. And with these items, the white one is the normal variant, blue one is rare, and purple is very rare. They're just upgrades. If you have a blue bow, it just does more damage, has more range than a normal bow. Plus, it gets an enchantment slot. Now you can enchant them with any of these. A blue bow, you can only use a blue enchantment. As you can see, the purple ones are better but more expensive. And in the purple one, you can also use a blue one, but also a purple one. And any magical item can only have one enchantment slot. And you get dueling pistols. Still can't buy anymore, but at least I have one more character. Let's see. Yeah, also heavy armor. Ballistic, yeah, everyone's gonna get ballistic skill and accuracy. Ballistic skill is how well do you hit. As you can see, range damage gets increased, to hit chance. And rating, this is just rating, it doesn't mean much. It's just for online purposes. The higher your rating, you'll get put up to someone with similar rating. So you have a fair fight essentially. Let's see, anyone else? Yep, you also. And one of you can get light armor. Right, we can end the day for now.
A new shipment has been requested.
Alright, yeah, this episode has been going on for a while. I'm not going to do another skirmish, I'm just going to talk a bit more about my general strategy with this warband. And a bit about the lore. So let's first talk about strategy. My strategy is going to be eventually to get everyone crossbows, and to get them, I'll keep the hunting rifles and get blunderbusses as secondary weapons. The thing with blunderbusses is you can fire them in combat. It's a cone, so you can target multiple people with it, and you can just fire it. And I think it fits the spirit of the challenge, because it still says it's a ranged attack. If you think that's cheating, just let me know. I don't think many people will be watching this anyway. But I think that that's fair. Also, I'm not going to be using any consumables, except for the firebomb. But I'm not going to use that normally. The firebomb is an item you probably need for one mission, and that's against the ogre. Can't remember if the mercenaries have to fight the ogre. In one of the missions, at the middle bridge, you have to fight an ogre named Thad, Chaos Ogre, and he regenerates. And, well, most of you will probably know. Regenerates just means getting hit points back, and the way to stop it is fire. The classical ways of fire or acid to stop the Hydra from regenerating. It's the same principle here. So you have to use the fire bombs to stop the ogre from regenerating, and then you can properly hurt him. Perhaps technically you could do it, because for every attack, I think it's something like this. If you attack him, he regenerates 40 points and then takes damage. So if you do 45 points of damage, in total he loses 5 hit points. But if you do 25 damage, he regains 15 hit points. So yeah, you would have to do a lot of damage to him. He has very many hit points. And the thing about story missions is enemies keep coming. If you were to wipe everyone from the map, slowly, lower leveled henchmen would come at you. They wouldn't swarm you. It isn't like 20 would spawn, but like 4 or 5 would keep on coming. So you would have to keep on dealing with them. And considering we already restrained ourselves with ranged attack only, it's going to be very difficult. So I can't spend 20 or 30 turns wailing on one ogre. And yeah, I think he has more things. If he hits his opponent, he regains like 20 hit points. So yeah, it's gonna be a very bad time if we try that. And speaking a bit about skills, the idea behind my skills are to get most of these. First of all, get everyone quick reload. That's going to be especially useful for the ones with crossbows. And what was it else? Bullseye, perhaps not. Hunter, yes. Get everyone hunter. Because we'll be spending at higher levels, spend a lot of action points reloading. Because these offensive points, the red dots, go up to 9, and the strategic points go up to 9 as well. And after every reload, the strategic points, you need one more strategic point for the next reload. So if the first one is 1, second one becomes 2, the third one becomes 3, fourth one becomes 4, etc. And with bows and crossbows, they only cost 2 offensive points to fire. So in the case of him especially, my leader, and the young bloods, they also go up to 9 strategic points. They can fire up to 4 times, meaning they'll have to reload 4 times. And yeah, that's why I need to reduce those things as much as possible. What other thing? Active skills, I thought, yeah, I'll be taking guard stands for pretty much everyone. Let's see if they... Can you also get guard stands? No. Also don't think I'm gonna use this one. I think white powder trap and black powder trap are good enough. Plus what I just said about firebombs. I think hand bomb would be... It would be fun. But I'll only be using it if I get properly stuck. Because there's one thing that I don't know for sure. But there are some situations where someone gets plus 200 range resistance, meaning I can only hit on a 1. So that's going to be unrealistic. In that case, these ladies will have to use hand bombs, white powder traps, black powder traps to take them out. I don't think there will be many circumstances like that, because the only one I can remember is the impressive. Impressive is this. It's in our case it's the ogre, but for other warbands there's another one. There's other types, and they fill up this slot. If we want it, I'd have to remove this one. We can take one impressive. This is not the ogre I was talking about earlier. It's a bit confusing, I know, but this one doesn't get regeneration, stuff like that. And what are they called? The Sisters of Sigmar. They have an impressive that has 200 range resistance. Luckily, in normal skirmishes, the AI matches your warband. So if I remove all my heroes, they won't bring any heroes. Now they'll only bring 1 leader and 5 henchmen. They may bring different henchmen, so they won't bring 5 the same type of henchmen. But they will only bring 5 henchmen. So if I don't bring them impressive, I won't see them in normal skirmishes. However, there are story missions, and there may be one story mission in which I'll see them. So that's going to be a problem if that happens. In which case I'll probably lose, and if I lose, I'll pick hand bomb in the hopes that will solve the issue. Or I'll use the fire bombs I talked about earlier. That's the way I'll be going around that, solving that issue. So other skills, they are also going to pick quick reload. Let's see, there was something else over here. Fine tuning, probably. Perhaps I would use in and out to have them get the wordstone and get out, because they already have more movement. They're fast. Movement range increased by 1 meter and immune to traps. That's quite good. Speaking of skills, I haven't talked about their skills. He isn't really meant to be an archer. He's meant for a sword and shield, or at least a shield type of hero. Because when normally you parry, your counterattack gets reduced by 1. he reduces it by 1 as well, meaning it gets reduced by 2. And a normal attack costs only 2 offensive points. So every time he succeeds a parry, he can counterattack. Unfortunately, you can at max only perform 3 parries. But yeah, that's what he's more normally good at. It's not going to be that much of an issue though. They have the black powder trap, so you can put this trap down. It looks like a fake search point, like those bags from earlier, where you could loot the opponent. And they explode for 20 to 40 damage. As you can see here. And I think, does that increase with intelligence? No, it's just spell damage. Still, they can use that. Youngblood was their skill. Squire's Curse. This is a melee attack, so that's going to be useless. And they have pretty good one. Unfortunately, henchmen go only up to 5 offensive points, meaning they can at max only attack twice. But if they hit the first attack, it gets increased by 10. So if I can only do 1 aim action, I'm going to use it on the first one, so I can still get that bonus. It applies for all of them, by the way. I think that's most of what I needed to say about the warband. If you still have questions or criticism, any additional rules you want to apply, I'll hear about it in the comments, or I'll read about it. Can't really hear comments. So let's now talk about the lore. So this takes place in a ruined city called Mordheim. Yeah, this is supposed to be a map. And as you could see in the intro, a meteor fell, and they say it was divine judgment. This takes all place in the Warhammer setting. And for those of you who know about it, it takes place somewhat earlier than the normal Warhammer fantasy setting, like in Total War Warhammer, Warhammer 2. This takes place when the Empire is in a civil war. Shortly before the Vampire Wars. So if you play the Undead Warband, you can see that Vlad is preparing his invasion, and this is your mission to acquire soldiers for him. So I suppose I'll talk only about the relative lore here. So now I'm going to talk about the lore for those of you who don't really know much or don't know anything about Warhammer. It is a grimdark setting, and it copies a lot, very lot, from other settings and just real life. The map is essentially not a copy, a slight transformation of our world. And we are in, well, essentially Germany, the Holy Roman Empire version. They call it the Empire, and it is 13 provinces, 13 or 15 provinces that it's a human type of empire, and what do you call it? It's ruled by an emperor, and that emperor is elected. So similar to what we saw in Kingdom Come Deliverance. That's their perspective. We are a warband from that, and we are from the province of Reichland. And currently there's a civil war going on, as you saw earlier, between Reichland, Marienburg and Midland. And we are essentially mercenaries. Sorry, I was stalling to find the right word. And we are sending the wordstone back to Baron von Leitdorfer in Altdorf. That's in Reichland. And he pays us, he sponsors us, essentially. And we probably fled from the Civil War, or if we find another human mercenary warband, they probably are from a different faction. That's usually how it's reasoned in when you fight on the tabletop. Sorry, I scattered off. Rambled off a bit. The Empire. It's very big. It would be a lot large. It would be a lot larger in terms of population than the Holy Roman Empire. But there's also magic. It's you would say it's a low fantasy, low magic type of setting, so you don't see much. But there is, and in the Empire there isn't much magic, but in other places there is. Ooh. But you don't really want to go there. Life in the Empire isn't very good. Life in all of Warhammer isn't good. It's it's the poster boy for grimdark. When you normally hear about fandoms like Star Wars or Star Trek, would you like to live in that universe? Yes. In Lord of the Rings setting, in Middle-earth, in Song of Ice and Fire, so Game of Thrones, most people would say yes, or I'll have to think about it. It's not really, oh no. Not necessarily such a harsh rejection. When Warhammer fans get asked, they say no. In fact, you probably would rather want to die than go to the Warhammer universe. Simply because when you die in real life, we don't know what happens. When you die in Warhammer, it'll probably be worse. And you'll probably have experienced worse before you died. So it's not a nice setting. that smuggler that died. Let's hope they don't go to the chaos realm. But considering we're in Mordheim, that's probably likely. Some other things. There's very generic fantasy things about the Warhammer universe, like there are elves, dwarves, and they are stereotypes. Elves are pointy-eared and very skilled, very long-lived, but also very arrogant. And dwarves are very stubborn, very grumpy, and very honorable. But there's also some more races, and I'll go back to the main menu for that. Skaven and the vampires. I mentioned before the vampires, the vampire wars. they were about to happen. One of the provinces of the empire, Sylvania, is quite close to Mordheim, and it has been taken over by a powerful vampire, and he raises the dead there in preparation of crowning himself emperor. And if you want to know what happens during that period, there's a trilogy of books about it, the Vampire Wars, and they're quite good if you, well, like Warhammer settings and Warhammer fantasy. But these, as you can see, it's a rat, but they call themselves the Skaven. In Warhammer there's magic, but magic comes from a different realm, as is usual. But this isn't like D&D, like it's the astral plane and it's all magic. This is belief. And as I said before, this is grimdark, so belief is very much twisted. And these Skaven are an example of that. They were once human until they turned into red men by this type of magic. And this wordstone we've been collecting is essentially that magic made manifest. That's why we also get mostly negative effects from picking it up. And there are living creatures that live in that magical realm. That I'll name it. It's the warp, they call it. And these warp creatures, they embody a type of belief. So if a lot of people believe, for example, that there's mermaids that drag people down to sea, in this realm there will be those type of creatures, like mermaids that drag people into the sea, and they will try to spread their belief. So they will try to manifest these type of these mermaids into the sea. And the more people believe in them, the stronger they'll get. And the very strong creatures call themselves gods. And there are 4 main type of gods. I have to remember the names. Slanesh, Khorne, Nurgle and Tzeentch. They embody Slanesh is pleasure and pain. So they are very malevolent gods. They try to make you do, essentially very bad things. In case of Slanesh, she wants you to have a lot of sex or torture people, whatever is your kink. Start cannibalism. Khorne is the god of blood and war. He wants you to murder as much people as possible. Make you a psychopath, essentially. Nurgle is the god of pestilence and decay. He wants you to get sick and vomit all over people. And Tzeentch is the god of fate and change. And also magic. The most magicians that fall to chaos, that worship these gods, they follow, Tzeentch. And Tzeentch, he wants you to change constantly. He wants you to backstab people, follow different ideology from one day to the other, cast as many magic, study, those type of things. And those are, these people, they worship them. And these people are the results of them, essentially. And as I said before, Sigmar was also a god. And yeah, these three worship him. And to keep this, well, faith pure, there are the holy orders, like the Sisters of Sigmar. And there are also witch hunters. They essentially hunt chaos and chaos worshippers. And the very Spanish Inquisition about it. And in this case, it's also necessary because, yeah, chaos is gonna do weird stuff. They're gonna, well, try to cause a plague, get a meteor in a city. It was said that it was Sigmar's divine wrath, but the chaos gods can be up to very nasty things. And most people don't know about the chaos gods. That's why they are also necessary to keep it a secret. And that's the greatest weapon against them. Because, well, they want you to believe in them, preferably worship them. And if people don't know about them, they essentially starve. Yeah, that's most. In short, that's most things about Warhammer. So yeah, it looks like these are the good guys and these are the bad guys. But the essence of Warhammer is essentially everything is shades of grey. And yeah, we will also be fighting them. And essentially everyone fights everyone, which is very good. Yeah, I think that's most of it. Yeah, as I said plenty of times, if you have questions or comments about the challenge, just let me know. This is a very nice game. It's a bit old, like 2016 or 2015 all year is when it came out. But I still like it. I still play it from time to time. Haven't been much into the multiplayer side of things, but yeah, I'm not much of a multiplayer type of guy. I'm more also, I know quite a bit about the Warhammer lore, but yeah, I'm not going to become a Warhammer lore channel. There's bigger names out there. And well, that's everything for now. Hope you liked the episode, and see you next time.